Jisoo sat alone in her penthouse apartment overlooking the city skyline. Her hands clenched the edge of the counter as she recalled the events from earlier that day. The memory of Taeyang blocking her from seeing Sojin for longer than a few minutes replay in her mind. The way he had calmly but firmly stepped between them had ignited a fury within her. He thinks he can keep my child from me, she muttered, pacing the room. He doesn't understand who he's dealing with. At the moment the door to the apartment opened and Jimin walked in. He was dressed in a sharp suit, his expression calm but inquisitive as he showed Jisoo's agitated state. Jimin was not only her husband but also the CEO of a powerful conglomerate with influence that reached every corner of the city. Why do you look so upset, Jisoo? He asked, taking off his jacket and wrapping it over a chair. Jisoo turned to him, eyes burning with frustration. It's Taeyang. He's refusing to let to see our daughter. I barely got a few moments with her, and he practically pushed me out of his apartment. Jimin raised an eyebrow, his eyes narrowing. He's become bolder than expected. After all these years, he's still stubborn. Jisoo crossed her arms, leaning against the counter. I want her back, Jimin. I am not living without my daughter. Jimin stepped closer, placing a hand on her shoulder. You know, I will do whatever it takes for you. But Taeyang isn't someone to underestimate, even if he does not have money or power like us. He's nothing compared to you, Jisoo replied confidently. I need you to make sure he understands that. Jimin's eye glinted with determination. If that's what you want, then we will proceed. I will have a legal team draft papers immediately. We will send him a formal notice, one he can ignore. Jisoo smiled, feeling a sense of power, perfect, and if he refuses to cooperate, Jimin's expression turned serious. Then we will make his life difficult. I will cut off his resources, and we will find ways to make it unbearable for him until he gives in. Jisoo felt a surge of satisfaction. She knew Jimin's influence could make things happen. She has married him for his wealth and power, and now she was going to use it to get what she wanted. Back at Taeyang's apartment, meanwhile, Taeyang was in the kitchen preparing dinner while Sojin played in the living room. It was a quiet evening, but he knew this peace was temporary. He had sensed Jisoo's determination and knew she would not back down easily, especially with someone as powerful as Jimin backing her. The doorbell rang and Taeyang tensed for a moment. He knew Hoseok was coming, but every sound felt like a reminder that Jisoo could make a move at any time. Taeyang opened the door to find Hoseok standing there holding a bag of takeout. Hey man, brought us some dinner, Hoseok said with a grin stepping inside. Taeyang smiled, but his eyes were serious. Thanks, Hoseok. I am glad you are here. As they sat down, Hoseok glanced at Sojin, who was busy with her coloring book. How is she holding up? She's fine. She doesn't understand any of this, Taeyang replied, keeping his voice low. But Jisoo, she's going to come back, and this time I'm sure she will come prepared. Hoseok nodded. Good thing we already have a plan in place. We knew she wouldn't give up easily. Yeah, Taeyang agreed. I'm just worried about how far she's willing to go. Hoseok leaned back, crossing his arms. Well, you have already taken precaution. We have backup plans for every scenario. But if Jesus tries something drastic, we will just adjust. Remember, we are a step ahead. Taeyang felt a small sense of relief. He was grateful for Hoseok's supports and for the strategy they had already mapped out. It wasn't easy, but knowing he wasn't alone made all the difference. Let's eat and relax tonight. We have done all we can for now, Hoseok said, offering a reassuring smile. Taeyang nodded, finally allowing himself a moment to breathe. Yeah, you are right. They sat together, eating and sharing stories from the past to lighten the mood. For a while, it felt like old times before all the complications, but Taeyang knew deep down that this was just the calm before the storm. As Sojin finished her drawing and ran over to show it to them, Taeyang hugged her close, determined to protect the little world they had built. No matter what Jisoo or Jimin did, he wouldn't let anyone take Sojin away from him. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow across Taeyang's modest apartment. Sojin was stuck in the bed, her soft breathing filling the silence. Taeyang stood by her door, watching over her, a sense of peace washing over him. But the calm was fleeting. He knew the storm was brewing in outside. As Taing settled in the living room, he heard the fan budge of his phone. It was a message from Hoseok. Just got word, Jesus' legal team is moving fast. They are ready to make their first move. Tying heart shang. He had known these days would come, but he felt unprepared. He quickly typed back, "Let's meet together tomorrow and discuss." The next morning, Tying and Hoshik meet at the nearby cafe, the air thick with tension. They sat in a secluded corner, and Hoshik leaning closer, his voice low. "I have gathered some intel. Jisoo is serious about getting Sojin back. Jimin is fully on board, and they are strategizing." Taeyang frowned. "We can't let that happen. Sojin is my life and I won't let her go." Hoshok nodded. "I agree. We need to gather evidence that shows you are the better parent, something that demonstrates Jisoo's instability and her motives." "What do you suggest?" Taeyang asked, his mind racing. "We could dig into her past, her financials, anything that shows she's not fit to be a mother, but we must tread carefully. If we come off as vindictive, it could backfire." Taeyang rubbed his temples, the weight of the situation heavy on his shoulders. "I just want to protect her. I want Sojin to feel loved and safe." "We will," Hoseok reassured him. "Let's create a solid plan and gather our resources. We can't underestimate Jisoo and Jimin." Meanwhile, at Jisoo's apartment, Jisoo paced back and forth, her mind racing. Jimin was seated at the dining table, going through documents with this legal team by video call. He glanced up at her concern, itched across his face. "Are you ready for this?" Jimin asked, his voice steady. "Ready? I have waited 5 years for this moment," Jisoo replied, her voice laced with determination. "Taeyang thinks he can keep Sojin from me, but I won't let him. She's my daughter too." Jimin nodded, a smile playing on his lips. "Well, file the petition today. We'll make sure Taeyang knows we mean business. I will use my influence to expedite the process. Once the court hears our case, he will have no choice but to comply." Jisoo felt a rush of excitement mixed with anxiety. But what if he fights back? Taeyang is stubborn and he has friends who will support him. "Don't worry, I have already prepared for that. We will have character witness, financial statements, everything we need to show the court that we can provide a stable environment for Sojin. Plus, with my connection, we can sway the judge opinion." Jisoo's eyes gleamed with hope. "Sojin will be ours again. This time I will make sure to be a better mother." Back at Taeyang's apartment, a few days later, Taeyang received a formal notice in the mail. He opened it, his heart racing as he read through the legal jargon. It was a petition from Jisoo and Jimin demanding custody of Sojin. "Damn it," he muttered, throwing the papers onto the table. He felt a surge of anger and frustration. He picked up his phone and dialed Hoseok. "Hoseok, we need to meet. Jisoo has filed a petition for custody." Taeyang said, his voice shaking with emotion. "Meet me at the cafe in 10. We will figure this out," Hoseok replied. When they meet, Taeyang slammed the papers down on the table. "She trying to take Sojin from me. I can't let this happen." Hoseok scanned the documents, his expression growing serious. This isn't just a legal battle, it's emotional. We need to prepare for a fight. "I'm willing to do whatever it takes," Taeyang declared, determination in his eyes. "Good. We will gather evidence, build a strong case, and show that you are the better parent. We can also have friends and family testify about how much you have sacrificed for Sojin. I can't let her take my daughter away from me." Hoseok placed a reassuring hand on Taeyang's shoulder. "We will figure this out together, man. You are not alone in this fight." A showdown is coming. The tension was palpable as both sides prepared for battle. Jisoo and Jimin were relentless, determined to win back Sojin. Meanwhile, Taeyang and Hoseok were strategizing, gathering evidence to prove Taeyang's worthiness as a father. As the days passed, Taeyang couldn't shake the feeling that the confrontation was looming closer. He could already envision the courtroom filled with tension, emotions running high. But one thing remained clear: he would fight for his daughter with everything he had. Sojin was his heart, and he wouldn't let anyone take her away.